So between 1 and 2 men out of 10 are even seen as attractive at all by almost all women, when over 8 out of 10 women are perceived as generally attractive by men. And no, that's not biological. That is a socially engineered phenomena. And if you study the types of statistical studies that you would need to understand to even be able to look at and analyze charts like this, you would know that this isn't a natural progression, that this is something that is inspired artificially through mind control and social engineering in this case. Nothing in nature is skewed like this. You can't even look at this and immediately see that's satanic engineering. You gotta wise the fuck up and you gotta become holistically intelligent because you're getting your face beat to mush. Next, let's move on to the idea of what people find attractive. This is subjective, but as we will see, men and women respond completely differently when it comes to what they find attractive in a potential physical partner, potential mate, etc. It's skewed drastically, and this is not because of biology. It is not because of evolution. It is because of social engineering. No dynamic that you pick in nature has rigid points of interest, rigid points of value. It does not display like some linear, crazy, mountainous graph if you're talking about something that occurs in nature. Nature doesn't have hard angles like that. You could say, okay, there are aspects that it has that, but ultimately they're curves and fractals. That's what you find in nature. This is all absolute asinine morons believe is that this is because of biology. Let's bring up the expert in the field. We actually have him on hand. Here is the expert in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea that women are much more selective in a potential partner than a man is because of their biological properties and because of human evolution. That's the reason that they think almost all males are unattractive and men have a very non-skewed graph and chart when it comes to that, and they follow a more natural progression. But this crazy skewed idea of why women find things attractive is because of evolution and biology. Fucking morons is what people are, quite frankly. Nothing in nature is skewed like this at hard angles and extreme levels of being off from a natural progression. And if you study probability and statistics, and if you study fractals, and if you study the types of statistical studies that you would need to understand to even be able to look at and analyze charts like this that I'm going to show at the bottom, you would know that this isn't a natural progression, that this is something that is inspired artificially through mind control and social engineering in this case. Studies that have been conducted to appraise men and women's perceived attraction show that men are attracted to a far greater number of body types and overall physical features than are women. And no, that's not biological. That is a socially engineered phenomena. When shown thousands of images of females with very diverse sets of physical characteristics, the average amount of women that men perceive as physically attractive is shown to be approximately 8 out of 10, 80%. Women, on the other hand, when shown thousands of images of males, also with extremely diverse sets of physical characteristics, were attracted only to an average of less than 20%, not even 2 out of 10, less than that. So between 1 and 2 men out of 10 are even seen as attractive at all by almost all women, when over 8 out of 10 women are perceived as generally attractive by men. That is not biological. A natural progression might be a little bit more than 50% on each side. Or if it were truly natural and one side really showed a higher level of perceived attraction, then it would about equal on each side. It might be 70 and 70. It might be 75, 75, 80, 80, even 65, 65. The progression should look the same when you chart it. When you actually put put it on a chart, it should not look drastically different physically on the chart. It should still be a simple bell curve progression. It should not be a skewed logarithmic or exponential progression, or it should not be a skewed linear wacky progression like what we're seeing here. Whenever you see those hallmark characteristics of something being completely angular, skewed, dropping precipitously, going completely exponential in one way or another, you can almost guarantee that's manipulation, that's mind control, that's social engineering. Almost always, with rare exceptions to the rule when it comes to psychological dynamics. These charts at the bottom mean that when men are looking at images of women, there's a natural progression to what they do and don't find attractive. Those who are judged as the very least attractive, it's like 5%, and then the very most attractive is about 5%, and then it meets in the middle, with average attractiveness being gauged. It comprises about 20% of the images that they were shown. That's a very natural bell curve shaped natural progression that you find in nature, in things that are natural. On the other hand, when women were shown these thousands of images of men, you can see that almost all are shifted and skewed into the least attractive category. That means when they're showed the images, they say very unattractive, very unattractive, very unattractive, very unattractive. Maybe 1 out of 10, I find that person very attractive. Maybe 2 out of 10, or even less. As you can see, it's almost 0% at the most attractive. It's completely off the chart. So you're seeing the very most attractive, 0%, hardly any. When you get to the medium, just follow the line up. Go to medium, which is at 2.5 on the right-hand graph. Follow that right up. It's still under 15%, or even in medium category. Almost all of them are at least attractive, 0. Over 30%, and then to the complete left, still above 25%. And we believe that's biological imperative. Women are so concerned about the look of their children, and so concerned about eugenics characteristics. That's just how nature provided it, and that's just a natural biological response. The people who think that more than anybody else, dumb fucking men. Most of you guys out there, you are dumb bags of fucking dolt dog shit. You're dolts. You're complete fucking dolts. And you're played. You're getting hit by all of the fucking weaponry of this agenda. And you still don't even acknowledge it, let alone deeply understand it, because you're a fucking dog shit for brains, man. You gotta wise the fuck up, and you gotta become holistically intelligent, because you're getting your face beat to mush in this fucking war for the mind. You can't even look at this and immediately see that's satanic engineering. I gotta calm down, because when I just think of what people say to me and how fucking dumb they are, it's a never-ending source of upset for my peace of mind, because even if it were changing a little bit, more people would get this. I would hear more about, oh my God, they're trying to brainwash fucking people. The people who don't want to believe it are the people who are the most affected by it. You're being basically told you're fucking some kind of fucking troglodytic fucking parasite. And then you're immediately picking up and saying, that's nature. Nature does that. I mean, you might as well just fucking off yourself. You might as well just fucking say, what am I bothering to even stick around fucking for? Oh no, because then the next thing these dumb fucking moronic so-called men do is go live their lives in a fucking video game world or fucking fantasy sports, because all your fucking power's cut off, you fucking morons. Think about how skewed this is. Just look at the progression. Such attractiveness studies demonstrate that women have an extremely limited range of characteristics which they find attractive in men. And again, these are conditioned women. The modern conditioned woman has been given, through the social engineering they've received since birth, the skewed perception to find almost every man unattractive. The drastic difference in the bell curve on these studies shows the blatantly skewed and unnatural divergence in women's preferences versus the smooth, naturally occurring median curve of men's preferences. The problem is that most morons in the world would not be able to figure this out because they don't have any mathematical training or capability. They couldn't read this fucking graph, let alone understand what it means. Then they buy into the Darwinian hypothesis. By that fucking joke. And all the fucking jokes who believe his bullshit. That this is just biological and this this is just how evolution works, because women are trying to be selective about who they breed with. No, moron. Satanists gave them their mind, and they gave you yours. See, some people have reclaimed what was taken from them early on. They recognized something was missing and off and taken, and they took it back. And most of you fucking weaklings out there haven't done that yet, because you're weak here, and that makes you weak everywhere else. Strength here translates to strength everywhere. The mind precedes all and can conquer all. And the problem is, we've let it become completely fucking ill. We've let it become poisoned. We've let it become delusional. We've let it become captured. The men's results on these graphs show a natural selective preference, while the women's results display an artificially inflated selectivity that is indicative of socially engineered perception. Of course, many will incorrectly attribute this divergence to Darwinian so-called evolution and so-called survival theory. No, it is not. You are incorrect. You can believe that until your dying breath and you will still be wrong. If you really study what this is attributed to, and you really understand the reason they want it this way is because they can simply keep this satanic perception operating within females, and then they're having them go after a very, very, very small percentage of males, often of whom are the most brainwashed themselves, and they perpetuate the mind control cycle and the abuse victim cycle. It's so blatant. It's literally like a truck coming at your face. And yet, only a very, very small percentage of people in our society are even intelligent enough to see it. And then they will fight that, no, this is natural. God made it that way. Science made it that way. Nature made it that way. It's just how things are. Just how things are is you're pretty fucking dumb, son.